Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whichever applies to you. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Julia. I'm a contemporary singing specialist based in Australia, and today I'm reacting to another group that is brand new to me, Falling in Reverse, performing the song The Drug in Me is Reimagined. You guys requested it, so here it is.
Knock upon my door the other day. I opened it to find her staring in my face. The feel of mortal stalking still reverberates. Everywhere I go, I drag this coffin, just in case.
Okay, so this is hitting like my the teenage Julia that loved My Chemical Romance and groups like Fall Out Boy, Framing Hanley. Like, this is just hitting the part of like teenage Julia's life that would have soaked up music like this, because I'm kind of anticipating where it might go based off the vocalist's vocal tone. I could be completely wrong, and if I am, I'm gonna have to like take my foot out of my mouth, but at the same time, the vocalist at the moment is starting to do things that I've heard previously from other artists, and it's this lighter mix that's got a metallic quality to it, and it's enabling him to go into an aspirated second register in and out with ease. Like, he's moving through this breathy to full, breathy to full, breathy to full tone, and it's because he's got this brightness and a little bit of mass connecting through those vocal decisions, so being able to be breathy and then being able to be a little full, and then quite full on that coffin, on the line coffin, I think it was. And then the just in case, we've back to that breathy quality. So good for storytelling. I'm so excited now. So good for storytelling. Love the setting in the snow with the piano. This is already really, really cool. I'm keen for more, so we're just going to keep going.
My body's trembling, sends shivers down my spine. Adrenaline kicks and shifts into overdrive. Your secrets keep you sick, your lies keep you alive. Snake eyes every single time you roll with crooked eyes. I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I lost my goddamn mind.
Okay, so they just subverted my expectation of it going up into a belt at the end there to pull it back. This is great storytelling. I'm loving the lyrical content, even though obviously it's a little bit darker. But again, teenage Julia flippin' loves this kind of stuff, so I'm just an older version of her. Doesn't really go away. Love his transitions between the aspirated to that fuller metallic quality. I do think that in this part of the verse, I don't know the structure of the song. Correct me if it's a verse or if there's a chorus. I don't know. I think it sounds like a verse. At least structure-wise, it sounds similar to what happened in the beginning. The beginning had a lot more of those aspirated transitions as he was singing. In this one, the aspiration came through more powerfully because I feel like he stayed in a fuller first register for a little bit longer. We're still keeping that, it's almost like a belt quality coming through just because of how bright and twangy and metallic that sound can come across. And then that aspiration that interrupts it, it becomes even more of a standout because it's not happening quite as frequently. So we have this expectation of hearing the aspiration in the beginning, and now it's balancing out because you're getting that fuller tone quality. It's really good vocal storytelling, because if you do something too much, and this goes for most effects, so if you're using breathiness as an effect, if you're using growls as an effect, if you're using any kind of vocal effect and you do it too often, when you kind of haven't reached the climax of the song yet and people keep hearing it, it can start to get a little old, a little bit too samey. So you keep that tension of the listener by being able to vary it and balance it out in other ways. So I'm loving the vocal decision making he's making at the moment, because it's also just hitting it right in the middle with those lyrics. I'm flipping loving this. And then also just subverting my expectations, not going to that belt. Now we're in a softer section again where he's in a lighter mechanism, but it's not second register this time. He's just in a lighter first register. So full fold closure, we're just not going for that amplitude, not going for that volume. So we're not using as much mass in the sound. Speech quality is all over this. You cannot sound accurate in this particular style if you don't have some kind of speech quality. So the setup will be similar to how you might speak those particular sounds, and it is why when that aspiration comes through, it becomes more of a contrast as well. So let's subvert our expectations one more time.
Now I lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume. The drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery.
He moves through this. It's not overly ringy. There's enough twang in there that you can still hear the words clearly. He moves through these lighter, softer sounds with a fair amount of clarity. And that's really, really cool to hear, because it means that we don't lose any of the sort of emotional intention of the song because we can't understand the words correctly. This is really cool, really, really cool. He's still using aspiration through here, but that lighter tonal quality, it's almost like he's whispering a secret to us without it actually being like a whisper. So I think this is
And I'm so high on misery. Can't you see? I've got these questions always running through my head. So many things that I would like to understand. If we are born to die and we all die to live, then what's the point of living life if it just contradicts? I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet don't fail me now. I've lost my...
That was so cool. Oh, okay. So we get a much fuller tone already. He's widening the back of his pharynx, so we're getting these darker qualities that are coming through. And you can hear that because the contrast between when he goes up into that aspirated, lighter mechanism, there's more of a contrast between that and this fuller quality. That fuller quality sets him up very nicely for them being able to belt with a lot more power. I still don't think he's at a full belt yet. Just from listening to where this might potentially be going, I still don't think he's at a full belt yet. I think he's perfectly comfortable being up in this lighter belt quality that's ringy and pingy and just can keep going. So the fact that he was able to bring in this lower, wider tone, and then that's building upon itself, we're starting to get a hint of distortion, and then that distortion is building and building. At the very end there, we start to get the introduction of more of a scream quality. This is just such good tension building as a listener, and the fact that he's doing this vocally is just with the cellos and the music and the backdrop and the visuals. This is like I'm feeling very satisfied listening to this right now. That progression. Let's go back. I want you to hear that progression again, and Caption Julia will annotate it, I guess.
I've got these questions always running through my head. So many things that I would like to understand. If we are born to die and we all die to live, then what's the point of living life if it just contradicts? I felt the darkness as it tried to pull me down. The kind of dark that haunts 100-year-old house. I wrestle with my thoughts, I shook the hand of doubt. Running from my past, I'm praying feet lost my goddamn mind. It happens all the time. I can't believe I'm actually meant to be here, trying to consume the drug in me is you, and I'm so high on misery. Can't you see?
Super, super cool. As he was going through that previous section, his twang became a lot more consistent. So his placement at the front, where it's really quite bright, there was almost a touch of nasality. I feel like that should become my slogan, a touch of nasality. There was a touch of nasality that came through in that sound just at times as he was sort of keeping the tone consistent through this section. Let me see if I can find it.
If I'm actually meant to be here.
A certain quality in his sound, because the placement is so consistent, it's allowing him to bring in these different textural things without losing any of the intensity of his sound. This is the kind of singing where you definitely want amplification on what you're doing. It's not something that you would ever want to be doing unamplified in any way, shape, or form. This is contemporary. Like there's no bones about it. You're getting more of an effect from this song because there are certain effects that have been put on the voice, and because you have the benefit of amplification of smaller, more intimate qualities in the sound. So I am aware that there are production elements in here which might be making certain decisions that he's making seem more seamless or seem easier than perhaps they would be live on stage. I am aware of that. So it sounds like he's able to make lots of different vocal decisions and make sure that they're set up in the right way so that he can move between them with some ease as he's singing it. The other thing that I enjoyed was he was able to immediately leave that scream sound and come back to what was the cleaner sound from the beginning of the song. There's always a little bit of extra intensity when you're producing the kinds of light belt metallic-y quality that he's producing. But if that's his like neutral for this particular song, the fact that he's able to return to it, that's really good. It means he's in charge of the decisions that he's making, which is that's what you want. I feel like I say that in every video that has any kind of extended voice technique in it. It's great that they can use it. Can they switch it off and return to their neutral, normal, clean sound? If the answer is yes, then they're all over it. Anyway, so let's keep going. I can't wait for this to build. Is it even a request from my subscribers at this point if there isn't something unexpected and slightly terrifying that happens in the song? Come on. Come on. Oh my goodness. That took me by surprise. I couldn't help but laugh because I was like, oh my God, they did it to me again. I actually do love the contrast though, because it was almost like there was something heart-achingly beautiful and haunted and painful and miserable about the beginning, and then you just get the pure pain at the end from the screams with everything being on fire. Visually, I flippin' loved this. I loved the dances. I loved the fact that they just have her standing there in what looks like it almost looks like a corpse bride situation, but she's just sitting there, and then at the end, like, she's on fire. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I should have understood when he was like saying, I lost my effing mind and there's no effing time, that something would be coming, because he'd like sort of subverted my expectation of a louder, more intense sound twice from that chorus. He subverted it twice. I was expecting it from the second, and it didn't happen, and then he got a little bit louder. I was like, cool, we're going there. And then it started to get really, really gentle, and then it hits, and I'm just like, ah! There it is. There it is, and it's unpleasant, and I think that fits perfectly with the theme that's been going on in the song. Voice-wise, he demonstrated a lot of different things going on there, and he was consistent with it too. So I guess if we break them down into a few simple ideas, he stayed in his first register, and he would often utilize a transition up into second register with a breathy tone in order to like fit the emotional intention of what it was that he was singing. It gives us this soft cadence towards that feeling of it being almost gentle, and still there's like this, it's almost like there's a longing quality that's in it, which I don't know why I'm getting that, but that's the feeling that I'm getting from how he chose to phrase the beginning of the song into the lyrics of the chorus, of course. So he's using that. So he's got his first register. He's got that lighter belt with more of a metallic-y or bright, very bright quality going through there. Then we have that wider, slightly darker quality that he brought in with the second verse, I think it was the second verse. It was the one that I mentioned earlier where he was using a slightly wider pharynx. We have that darker quality coming in, more of a contrast to that second register flip, and then going into the sort of bridge. I guess you call it the bridge if that screaming bit at the end is like the coda. So the bridge where it gets louder again, and then it feels like it's all winding down and you feel miserable alongside him. It's like he's lost something, and there's so much pain in what he's using in his voice. He uses a sob quality, and he uses different levels of distortion throughout this particular performance. And I think that, again, it engages with the lyric. It doesn't seem like it's out of place. It truly feels like everything he chose to do fit with the story that he was creating as he was performing this, as he was singing this. Even towards the end, it felt like it was all calming down, and it's like, oh, that's sad. But then no, it's fire and pain and agony by the time you hit the end there. So first register, nice transitions, good use of aspiration and other effects that lean a little bit more towards distortion. We get the hints of the scream throughout, but it doesn't really quite take us there fully in the middle of the song. Then at the end, it just takes it there fully, and we get the agony and pain and the fire, and everything is burning. There's no happy ending at the end of this song. And I think that story, I was intrigued the entire time, albeit I can read the lyrics, which does help if I'm listening to a particular song. Having those lyrics there just, again, feeds into whatever it is that I'm hearing. And I'm used to reading things as I'm listening, so there's not a very long time for me to read and interpret. Sometimes listen and interpret is a bit of a longer thing for me. Let me know in the comments below if you find that that's the same case for you. Do you interpret and understand things faster hearing, or do you interpret and understand things faster if you've read it? I don't know what else that I want to say there. I mean, this is just right up my alley. Like, I love this. Teenage Julia is on the inside just being like, yes, we're back to this again. Yay. So I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I think I want to check out a little bit more of their music, because there is something so powerful in the imagery and the beauty of the instrumentation in the beginning, in contrast to this voice which sounds like longing, and it's got pain and heartbreak and sorrow and all these things that are going through it, and through his vocal choices, like he's telling this story. It's not a very happy story, and then you have that build towards the end, and then that contrast of everything being on fire. It's sensational. It's honestly sensational, and it's intriguing. I wanted to watch from the beginning to the very end. I wanted to know what would happen. Gosh, Gosh, thank you for suggesting this one. Other than the fact that the arrangement and the visuals and the vocal decisions were just splendid for, I guess, their intention, overall, I felt like it was a really powerful song, lyrically, vocally, and image-wise. So I'm not going to comment on production because I'm not as familiar with that sort of background apart from things like effects put on the sound. So at times they introduced different effects on the voice, and it just meant that whatever was happening in that moment, the feeling of it became like tenfold just because that effect was there. Anyways, that is it for me today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that one. I definitely did. If you liked this video, please be sure to click the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell notification beside it for more just like this one. As usual, I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying healthy, and I will see you next time. Bye.
So